matter. And I need a vote or a motion to approve the minutes.
I approve.
There's one little correction to this.
A correction?
Well, at the very bottom, you have old business listed twice. It should say old business, and then it should say new business, and then it says there's no new business.
Okay.
Just that little thing.
Okay. So,
Okay, I'm
Carrie,
not sure how many people were here before, but we need to do a roll call vote to accept the minutes.
Well, don't we need a motion first?
Yes, I will call the roll. Hopefully everybody's here, and we'll start with Fred. Hey,
Who's
Fred,
muted?
I'm here. Fred is here.
can you say you approve the minutes?
I do approve the minutes.
Okay, Nina?
Did you say Nina? Nina Bloomquist here. I approve the minutes.
Robin?
I approve the minutes.
Janice?
I approve the minutes.
Karen?
I approve the minutes.
Rustin?
I approve the minutes.
Bill?
No bill.
No, Bill, I thought one's down
Great.
there.
Bill is on, his mic is muted. Bill Bruin, Bruin,
Yep.
Bill?
Anyway, I approve the minutes. Motion carries. Okay.
Fair enough.
Trust funds. I see no trust funds, but I do see the state aid report.
Yep.
Can we accept the state aid report?
I make a motion. Second.
Okay, we got to do this routine again. We'll start with Fred.
Fred Haas approves.
Nina.
Nina Bloomquist approves.
Robin.
Robin Ripley approves.
Janice.
Janice Merck approves.
Karen.
Karen Bento approves.
Rustin.
Rustin Kyle approves.
Margaret. Got you this time.
What?
Do you approve your minutes?
Yes.
Bill?
I don't.
Bill, do you approve? Tom Abel approves. Motion carries.
Bill, move your
government in
mouse in
action.
front of the screen, Bill, so you can see the little bar. And then when you see the bar, Bill, then there's a mic there. Click on the mic so you can unmute your mic, Bill.
You there, Bill? Okay, moving on. Director's report.
So today was an awful day. We were directed by the mayor's office to lay off more than half of our staff, and the staff have been notified. We laid off 18 people as directed by the mayor, and we have 7 people left. In all of our part-time people are gone. All Morgan Manzella is gone, and one of our full-time clerks, Lori Berkey, is gone. I had to call everyone and talk with them and tell them that they've been laid off, and then the union followed up with information about their last check and their, I forget the words, but their the possibility of being the contract stipulates that they have 2 years within which we could call them back to work. I don't know what's going to happen or when it's going to happen or how it's going to happen, but most unfortunately, all those people are gone now.
So you have 7 people left?
We have 7 people left, including me. I mean, obviously, that's not enough people to open a building, but we don't know when the building would be opened, and we don't know under what circumstances it would be open. But it was, as you can well imagine, it was awful, absolutely awful. One of our staff has been here since 1985, and she lost her teaching job and was counting on her library job, and now she's lost both. and her father is ill with COVID. So it's just a tremendous, awful day. So we have been working in a rotating schedule per the mayor. We have been working with a supervisor on site, and on average 3 to 5 people a day, Monday through Friday. And I report daily to the HR director and weekly to the mayor's office about what we've been doing. And yeah, it's just horrible. So I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. I don't know how this will impact our certification, because our cut for FY21, which starts on July 1st, is 57% of our budget is gone. So we would not be certified under, regular circumstances. And I don't know if the MBLC is operating in any other way but regularly in terms of the regulations. And it very well could impact our construction grant as well, because you have to be a certified library to have and work with a construction grant. So everything is up in the air right now. And I honestly don't know where we go from here, and how we move on and what we do in the future. It's just devastating, absolutely devastating. So does anybody have any questions? Or I don't know what else I can say about it. It's tremendous amount of our budget is gone.
Did the budget really get slashed? What I read and what I've seen is that the mayor submitted his regular full budget.
He did. He did.
They are going to discuss it, and there's no cuts that have been made as of yet? Or am I misreading something?
The cuts have come to the library and to the senior center, as far as I know. All the people that are laid off as of Friday. So they're gone. They're not included in, while they're included in the budget, the plan is to cut them, and that would bring us down to 57%. But so the people they're receiving a letter, their last paycheck. The letter states that this layoff is permanent. And so they weren't furloughed, they were laid off. And so yes, the budget is at the certification level as required, but in reality, there's a lot going to be missing from it, all those staff members.
I'm so sorry, Margaret.
Yeah.
That must have been really, really awful.
It was awful.
Really, really sorry.
Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, I don't know when we'll reopen, how we'll reopen, what the procedure will be for getting up to some reasonable level of service. We are currently open 66 hours a week, and in our population group, our requirement is 59. We can also do 90% accommodation, which would reduce our state aid and our requirement to 53. But there's just so few people. It's hard. We haven't even got to that part yet. I mean, as you can undoubtedly understand, people are just devastated by this. The people that are staying and the people that are leaving.
So, Margaret, just I get sorry. This is just shocked, and I can feel the pain in your voice, and I'm sure it's so difficult for the staff. But I mean, so you're saying it's possible that even when the time comes to reopen, could we be in a position where we just can't open?
Yes, we would be. And I think that's recognized that these are far too few people to reopen. We'd have to do something else. What that something else is, I don't know yet. I I just found out about this yesterday morning. And, you know, worked on this all day yesterday and called everybody today. So there's a lot of questions, but there aren't a lot of answers at this point.
So just so I make sure I have this right, we're required to be open 59 hours a week,
Right, for our population group.
but we're open 56. So there's
We're
some.
open 66. We're open
66.
beyond our population.
Okay,
So
66, sorry. Okay.
Yeah.
And you said
we have
could
been.
do. Okay, and we could do, they do allow a 90% accommodation, which would bring us down to 53.
Correct.
Okay,
But that means we would take about a 12% cut in our annual state aid
right,
as a result of the 90% accommodation.
okay. And even then, you're saying we couldn't do 53 hours a week with 6 people and you,
Right.
right? That's,
It would be hard, but we haven't even looked at that yet.
yeah, yeah.
And the other thing that the MBLC does not look favorably on is disproportionate cuts. I mean,
Yeah.
the way it was described to me was and the impact on FY20, the year we're just ending, is that there's not enough work for people to do at home. And the impact on FY21 is the budget, the reduction in the amount of money that's coming to the city from the state, and the local money is, you know, necessitated the cuts. But right now, we're certainly the department with the largest cuts, the senior center. I have not heard what kind of cuts they suffered. They have 3 union employees and 1 non-union employee. And I haven't checked in with Trish to see what their cuts looked like, but ours were very, very deep.
What about Parks and Rec? You hear anything about them?
No, I have heard that there may be other layoffs, but they're not as deep as they were to us. There may be here and there layoffs, but the MBLC, you know, in terms of our certification, in terms of our construction grant, will require documentation on the cuts and will not look favorably on the fact, I mean, that ours was so large. And that may jeopardize both our certification and our construction.
Have you heard?
Great.
Oh, sorry.
Good. The other libraries in the state, have they been hit with layoffs?
Not that I know of. I don't, it's hard to tell what's happening in every part of the state. And I have not asked the MBLC about that because they kind of try to keep track of all the libraries. So I don't know. I don't know that.
Margaret, I have a question.
Yep.
I think that if not yet, then maybe in the coming weeks, maybe the MBLC is going to come out with some provisional regulations for the current climate as far as, because the MBLC knows perfectly well that libraries are taking cuts and that they have grant money out for building construction projects. So I would suggest that it's really a good time to ask for guidance and say, look, we're not the only community dealing with this, and tell us what it is. Because if we know what the expectations are, then we can try to do what we can for advocacy on our side.
Right. I went to a webinar, a Zoom meeting this morning, and there were lots of just for construction libraries, and there were a lot of libraries there, and they were talking about there are some libraries that are scheduled to get their grant on July 1st, and obviously they're really worried about that because their communities are not in a position to accept the grant and move forward. At this point, the MBLC, what they're saying is they'll take that feedback back to the commissioners, but they don't anticipate a lot of movement on this. But again, this situation is unprecedented, so maybe the normal regular rules don't apply.
What is the next benchmark we have to meet?
we have to submit construction documents, have our construction documents ready by January 7th, 2021. And then we need to begin construction in the next fiscal year, which is 2022. So that's our benchmark, and their current reaction is that there's no reason to not do getting the construction documents ready, since we can all meet virtually and continue that work. So their expectation is that we will be we'll have those documents ready in January 2021.
I'm sorry, whose expectation?
MBLC.
Okay.
Their expectation is that we can continue with the construction document preparation, which is the stage where we're in design development right now, and getting the construction documents ready would be the next phase of the work that we're doing.
I guess, Margaret, how can we help you? Or can we help you?
There was no time to be able, unfortunately, to be able to help in terms of the layoffs and navigating what was happening with them. So that's a done deal. I don't know. It's very discouraging, and it's very overwhelming right now. So, of all the times to meet with you all, it's very raw right now, I have to say. That's just awful.
I mean, we can contact our state representatives and ask them to get involved with the State Library Commission in order to change some of the things, just because of the unprecedented thing that we're going through.
Yep.
See, Tom, I think you're making an excellent point, because the concrete thing we can do is that the MBLC needs to adjust its calendar or its expectations, and realize that all communities are involved in this. And I think that's an appropriate thing for us as a Board of Trustees to do.
I think we have 2 House Representatives and at least 1 senator. And I think we ought to contact them and say, hey, look, we're trying to do the best thing we can. We're trying to save our taxpayers money, and we're trying to keep our employees motivated. The other thing, I understand that these people will be capable of collecting unemployment.
Yes.
And that if you made $3,000 or more last year, you're eligible for the extra $600 a week in unemployment compensation.
Right.
So someone might be making more than what they were making before.
Yep.
So you automatically get the 600. So financially, they may be okay. I don't know. I don't know about the full-time employees, but at least the part-time employees may be okay.
Yeah.
And hopefully they will call it back.
Yeah.
I know that the mayor submitted a full budget. If they're going to cut things out, to me, it's probably not going to stay, because at some point in time you're going to have to reopen. And what I heard is today is the 18th. Looks like he's going to be looking at what to do May 18th. So I would suspect somewhere in the June timeframe, Margaret.
Yeah.
Before the year, but I don't know. I mean, obviously, I don't know.
Right.
So, 2 things. One, I think we ought to get a hold as a board, get a hold of our reps. If you want to write a letter from the board to our reps as trustees, Margaret, we'll sign it. And we can send it from a trustee standpoint. Individually, we can get a hold of our reps and our state senator and see if we can't get something moving, just expressing our concern. And then lastly, anything I can do for you, obviously, I'm here.
Thank you.
And I would hope that the mayor at some point would realize that there are going to be a lot of people applying for new jobs, and the library is going to be really an essential service in the city of Marlborough. People who don't have internet, people who need a lot of help, and where are they going to go? They're going to really need the library. So I feel like maybe he's just buying some time until he has to open it, saving some money until then.
I don't, you know,
I'm wrong. I'm hopeful.
I can't speak for the mayor, but I think that if you take a look at the city's finances,
Yeah.
people have been given the opportunity to postpone paying their taxes for a couple of months. So the cash flow has to be a concern.
Yeah.
And not only that, whether or not people are going to be really able to pay their taxes when the taxes come due in July is going to be another concern. So I think he's being cautious.
Yeah.
At least I hope he's being cautious and that we'll see the library open again. I did speak to Margaret the other day. I noticed that the town of Wayland started having their library people reach out to people who were struggling with English as a second language with their children being home trying to do their homework. And maybe we ought to look at a program similar to that if we had people. But I don't know if we have people, but the ideal is to show the mayor that we're actually working very hard to do different things and keep the library moving. So, again, Margaret, if we can do anything, you know we're here.
Thanks. So just continuing on, what we have been working in the library and at home, and we also have been partnering with the senior center, Trish Pope, to call seniors in our community and check in with them. Those calls have been extremely well received, and we were making about 100 a day before in previous weeks. And there's a lot of talk in the library community about opening and how that will happen, and people have begun to really think about how that would happen, and with social distancing and limits of people inside the facility, and just other ways that we can begin to resume some semblance of normal service. So there's a lot on the first page, but so we did meet. The library building committee has met by a Zoom on Thursday, April 9th, and reviewed the changes that were made to the interior design. And those changes were as the result of feedback that we received at the 4 public sessions that we held in February. And by far the most consistent message at all 4 public meetings was that was on the entrance to the library and the parking situation. And if you recall, on the design that we saw for quite a while, on the Witherby side of the building, there were 2 entrances. One was in the courtyard and the other was the after hours meeting room entrance. Well, everyone that saw the after hours meeting room entrance wanted to enter the building that way. And that was parents with strollers, handicapped people. It just was the easiest way in. So we went back to the drawing board in terms of design and worked up some ways in which we could make that entrance a more main entrance. And we moved some of the pieces around and put the meeting room on the lower level and put the circulation department and the cafe on the upper level. And we brought that to our library building committee, and thankfully they approved it so that we could move on to the next steps in the process and not suffer any more of a delay. The other issue, that whole process, which Tom Getsunas, one of the people on our committee, made the point to me, which I thought was really valuable. He said, either you change it now, or you open the building and then you try to change it. And it's better to do it now, because he thought people would be so unhappy about not being able to come in what they perceive as the closer entrance, that we would need to kind of do something on the fly to make it better, and it's better to be part of the design process. So And the other issue that was clear is that to everyone is there just isn't enough parking. On site, we have 35 spaces, and we have the on-street parking, and then we will have the spaces that are able to be carved out of the 29 Witherby property that we really haven't even explored yet. But the city is negotiating to purchase 25 Witherby Street, which is an additional property, which would allow us to really maximize both 29 Witherby and also 25 to create a bigger parking lot across Witherby Street. So that the mayor has mentioned to me more than once that they're working on that and that they hope to have that come to some conclusion by late summer. And one thing I wanted to mention to you, which was, remember our discussion about people using the wireless for the parking lot? Mm-hmm. I've had more than one person be in the parking lot using the wireless during this time. And one woman even attended her work staff meeting by being in our parking lot, connecting to our wireless. So we've had no problems with it, and people have been really appreciative of the fact that they can sit in the parking lot and connect to work or family, or it's just worked out really well. And I thought that was definitely something I wanted to share with all of you, that she could be connected to her work through our parking lot.
Margaret, that's great.
Yeah,
That is wonderful.
I wonder if there couldn't be something that you put up on the website or push out through Facebook, asking people like, how are you using the library right now? Mm-hmm. And finding out. I mean, I know that on a certain level based on the phone calls you're getting, everything else, but I think any kind of information, any data we can gather right now as far as how people are using the library and how essential it is terribly important.
Yeah, we've been working with people to start using our ebook collection through CW Mars, walking people through. The staff have been setting up library cards for people and, just allowing people to have easier access to materials. So that is a good thing to kind of compile that information. I agree.
Yeah, Margaret, even with the good phone calls, checking in on people, even if you were to post that on social media, I think that's really, really beneficial. That was really awesome when I read that. Just people wouldn't understand that or even know that was something, because that's you're going above and beyond what expected, and it's really heartfelt. I think it's really important.
And point out that you said that they're doing programming from home too. They're doing like virtual story time or things like that, so the library is still open.
It is. And I've been putting all of that in my, weekly reports to the mayor, just so he knows the extent of what we're doing. And that, we're doing adult crafts, we're doing story times. And I made this suggestion to the staff the other day that maybe we could start collaborating on content with other libraries, but what they told me loud and clear is that people are looking for them. They know them. The kids like to see Jenny do a story time and really connect with her in ways that we kind of didn't always appreciate. And Jenny has started a comedy corner with Spike, and Spike is telling jokes to the kids now, and the kids can add their turtle jokes. So I think people are staying connected in the best ways possible. And we've received lots of positive feedback about our staying at home, things to do when you're at home page. And unfortunately, I had to harken back, but a lot of the staff that have done a lot of these creative things are not going to be with us. But we'll just continue to do our best. That's my report, Tom.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Foundation?
Yay. So obviously we are not doing any fundraising right now. I did have some appointments set up that of course now have been canceled, and we were going to have our meeting with the mayor and that was canceled. So that's it. That's all, folks.
Okay, how about old business? Trustee scholarships. Nina.
Here we go.
I even was queuing it up on my other computer here, trying to anyway. So 1, 2, 3 there, sorry. Everybody got the spreadsheet of the scores, correct?
Right.
I emailed them out.
Mhm.
Okay, so there were 2 clear winners, as Tom said. I mean, two essays that were, well, like 10 points better than the next one, or 9 points better. And those were essays number 1 and number 4. What was number 1 about? Let me see. Number 1 was a series of unfortunate events. And number 4 was one of the Hate You Give essays. So if anybody wants to discuss this, I think Tom and I agree with Tom that maybe we would do, 2 $500 scholarships to number 1 and number 4. But if anybody has any other suggestions, I'm open.
Sounds good to me. I thought those 2 were definitely excellent.
Is it feasible to do $1,000 a piece?
Oh, did we raise it to that the last time?
I think so.
Oh, okay, then sure.
Yeah, I think that maybe if I was thinking maybe $1,000 a piece for both of them.
I think I forgot what our total was, but I think you're right. We had raised it to 2,000 a couple of years ago. So cool, yeah, 1,000 each. I'm sure they will appreciate it.
Anybody else have any other issues?
No, I think that's a great idea. Is that also something that can be posted, on social media or kind of help?
Have a virtual presentation?
Yeah.
Sure.
Well, it is not until they
Oh, yeah.
at graduation time is usually when we publicize that.
We used to do that, but last year we did it before. Last year we announced it before, but I think we should take a vote on it, a roll call vote, Tom, to make sure that everybody agrees. I make a motion that we give 2 scholarships to essay number 1 and essay number 4, $1,000 each.
Second.
Hey, Janice, how about second?
I did. I said a second.
I didn't.
Sorry.
Okay. We'll go around. Fred?
Fred Haas agrees. Affirmative.
Nina?
Nina Bloomquist approves.
Robin?
Robin Ripley approves.
Janice?
Janice Mark approves.
Karen?
Karen Bento approves.
Rustin? Rustin?
Sorry, I was on mute. Rustin Kyle approves.
And Bill? Hello, Bill.
Bill has left the building.
Yeah.
With Elvis.
He's here. He's WB.
Okay, Tom
He's
Abel
here.
approves.
Don't forget Samantha.
Yeah. There I am.
Samantha.
Sorry. I
Yeah.
skipped the name. I'm sorry.
I also approve.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. So we have an approval.
Cool. So do you guys want to know the names?
That would be good.
Okay, so the series of unfortunate events was a young woman named Chloe Wing. She's not a student at Marlborough High. Does anyone know if she's at AMSA or, I don't know, we'll have to call her.
This is Robin. She was a homeschool kid, but I think she went to AMSA.
Awesome. And she wrote on her application college you plan to attend, either undecided or Purdue.
Right?
Go
Yeah.
Boilermakers.
Yeah, right, exactly. And then our second one, the Hate You Give, was written by Din Tan, and he does go to Marlborough High.
Oh, he's wonderful. Oh, that's
good.
yeah. Oh, I think I had him as a freshman. Oh, that's wonderful. Oh, good for him. I'm really happy.
That's great.
Okay. So I guess Margaret, let's see. Last year, did you write a letter to them?
I
Probably
did,
rather than the next meeting, which who knows, but virtually they could come.
right? Okay.
I don't know.
Are we gonna, are we, yeah, what's our plan,
What do we do
Tom?
now?
Yeah.
I think, and we should probably talk about the next meeting. I think we'll have our next meeting June, a regular scheduled time, unless people think we ought to meet before that.
Well, the next one would be like next week, right? If we were going to do the first
Right.
Monday, Tuesday in May.
June 2nd?
No, June,
June 2nd.
right, June 2nd.
And after the news that we got today, I don't know that there's going to be a whole lot more going on between now and June 2nd.
Right.
I agree.
Although we should be prepared to respond to something if something comes up. So,
Sure, sure.
Especially the MBLC stuff.
Yeah.
My phone's ringing, sorry.
Or the reps and that, and we all sign it. We may have to send that around.
Margaret, does this mean that like all motion with regards to moving to the Walker Building has sort of stopped as well?
We haven't talked about that yet. We haven't really talked about that yet, but it does seem as though it will definitely impact that.
Well, you're going to have a few less hands for sure. So
Yeah. Well, we were always going to hire a moving company, but yeah, I'm just not sure. I'm just not sure. Yeah.
I was just curious.
Yeah.
Honestly, I don't know how the MBLC isn't going to have to make some adjustments. I mean, like no one can, you can't like, I mean, the governor stopped all like public construction. So
Right.
everybody's frozen.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are people that are mid-construction, and there's lots happening, and they're at various points along the way. But with those delays comes increased prices, and that's the other side of the concern, is that the longer you wait, the more your project, it costs more to wait. Under typical circumstances, but you know, who knows what these circumstances will bring. You know, there's two theories. One is that so many projects have been put on hold that there'll be a lot of pent up demand, and coming out of this will be real, very competitive, and costs could go up. Or people might just shy away from the projects, and there'd be less projects moving forward, and maybe the demand will go down, and you know that we'd be part of that environment. So it's just we've never lived in a time where things were so darn uncertain, and there's just no planning. We just have to kind of see how things unfold. The MBLC heard a lot of feedback from places that either were nervous they'd get their award, or wanted to know if they got their award, could they shuffle into another place on the list that gave them more time. So I think they've gotten a lot of feedback about it, and they were very they were listening hard, and I know that they'll see what they can do with the current regulations.
but Margaret, at the building committee meeting, I now remember that there was the conversation about like the bid that went out, and it came in $500,000 under what their expectation was, because there's a bit of a market correction going on because there's been inflated construction costs. So that would be a reason to press on with the project and say there's a unique opportunity to actually get this for under budget or below budget, because everyone else is going to freeze things right now. To whatever extent we can move things forward would be better for the overall budget.
Right. That's definitely a possibility. It could be something in our favor. It's just hard to predict how everything will shake out.
Okay. Anything else? So we'll meet the next time on June 2nd. And at that point in time, we can invite the scholarship recipients to join us on a virtual meeting.
Yep.
Congratulate them in that. And you can take care of that, Margaret.
I will. Yep.
Yeah. Thank you. Any other new business?
Nope.
Okay, Margaret, I just want to say one more time, if you need me or probably any one of us, I probably speak for everybody. Just give
Yes,
us.
absolutely. Absolutely.
I totally need you all.
We're here, Margaret.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, hopefully we'll have the opportunity to build back, and how that will happen, I don't know, but we'll see. Thank you very much. Thank you all.
I doubt if it's a permanent situation, Margaret.
Oh, I hope so, Tom.
I doubt it because you almost have to say it's permanent when you do it, because people are not really sure. But I can't imagine Marlborough not supporting the library and opening the new one and so forth. It just may be delayed, or we may have some issues in the future, but I think we'll make it. You know?
Yeah.
I mean, this is one of those moments where we kind of come back to the point that it's in the city charter as well. So
That's right.
that makes it pretty hard to make it permanent.
Right. I just think that it's a tough situation to go to, and I don't know how many people have laid off people in the past, but I've done my share. My share in that.
Have you?
Yeah, I worked for Digital, and I laid off half the plant in Marlborough, so, and that was quite a few people.
Wow.
They all of them wound up, well, most of them, I should say, wound up on their feet. And this time they have, financially, they should be okay from what I understand. Emotionally, I don't know. That's a toughie.
Well, I have to say, people were extremely gracious people didn't know it was coming. And as I say, I called every one of them and spoke with them and told them how much we all appreciated all they'd done, and that, and they were extremely gracious and lovely. And, I know most of them would love to come back, and we'll see what the future holds for that.
Yeah, I know Natick laid off school people, and so that gave a heads up to some people in municipalities.
Yeah.
This year, Tom? This year they have?
Yes,
Oh.
just recently.
Oh.
Should we send a letter from the trustees saying, thanking them as well? Should there be something from us that says we're sorry, that this has happened, or something like that? I don't know. A card, one of them or something?
I don't know. I don't know.
Okay.
Can I give that some thought to see if that, the small group we have left, who are the supervisors of those people, what they think. Losing Morgan, was really hard because she's been doing a lot with our social media and just keeping everything kind of humming. And it was just very unfortunate. The loss of everybody is unfortunate, but the full-time people who do so much, and the part-time people that allow us to open our doors every day when we're opening our doors, it's just really, really just difficult.
Well, I think that the people who, that they're willing to come back, we know probably it's not the pay bringing them back. It's more likely the great professional environment that you created, Margaret, and it's your relationship with them that's really a credit. So.
Yeah, thank you, Robin. We really, people do this more, not so much for the money. They believe in what we do, and it's important to them to serve and to help people. So there's that's part of them all. And if we can get them back, I know many of them would love to come back.
Okay. What I need is a motion to adjourn and a roll call vote.
Oh no! Who's gonna say they don't want to go?
Just trying to operate like the city clerk advised.
There you go.
I'll make
Motion
a
to
motion to
adjourn.
adjourn.
Okay, and we'll start with Fred,
Fred Haas approves.
Nina,
Nina Bloomquist approves.
Robin,
Robin Ripley approves.
Janice,
Janice Mark approves.
Karen,
Karen Bento approves.
Rustin, I'm sorry,
Rustin Kyle approves.
and Bill. Okay, Tom Abel approves, and Margaret, you need us, we're here.
All right, thank you all. Good night.